All right, so now that we know what a DM is, let's look at the other side of that. How do we keep our players engaged at the table in what we have created for them?
That's absolutely key to running a successful game as a DM is knowing what your players actually enjoy about Dungeons and Dragons and making sure that you like implement that stuff into your games, right? Luckily, again, if we go back to the holy DMG, we're going to be on page 6. Knowing what your players enjoy most about the D&D game helps you create and run adventures that they will enjoy and remember. Once you know which of the following activities each player in your group enjoys the most, you can tailor adventures that satisfy your players' preferences as much as possible, thus keeping them engaged.
We have a series on all 7 of these points that we'll link in the description below. But the first one that comes to mind is acting. Players that enjoy acting are super into their characters. They're really into role playing and pushing forward their character development. Next would be exploration. These are players that like to explore the ins and outs and boundaries of your campaign. How far can I go before, I make the DM scream? The next one would be instigating characters, similar to acting, like to push the narrative forward. They like to make decisions and progress the campaign. Along with the fighters, these guys, obviously combat is their bread and butter.
Then you've got your optimizers who love min-maxing their characters, making sure that their characters are doing the most damage or the most help that they possibly can. Then you move into your problem solvers who want to solve the mysteries of your campaign or even the puzzles that you present them. And then finally, you've got your storytellers who love the entire campaign aspect of it. They can watch their character progress over time and not so much in the moment like actors are, but more of a slow burn process for their entire character. And that's basically it, right? Somewhere along the line, your players are going to fall into one of those 7 categories, and depending on what your players fall into is pretty much what you want to start to focus on for your campaign.
And they might even end up having like a secondary one. You'll notice that there's actually some overlap between a lot of your players, and sometimes one thing can kind of cover all the bases with your entire party. So knowing this is pretty key to helping you prep for your D&D game.
That's a good thing for us as DMs, right? Is because you're not going to be able to hit check all the boxes every single session, right? You may have role play that runs a little longer than you may have expected, or combat that goes way longer than you thought it was going to happen. And it happens, right? But the good thing is, like Riley just mentioned, there's a lot of overlap between these. And so as long as you've got enough of these things sprinkled in across your adventures, you're going to do very well. If it's a brand new group and you don't really know who you're working with, ask them. Ask them if they have ever played D&D before. What do they like about it? You can even show them page 6 and say, where do you think you land in all of this, right? You may have already been playing with a group for a while, and you might be able to just pick them out because maybe you're transitioning into a DM position from a player. Um, Whatever it might be, you could talk to them and ask them what they like.